In 1887, Good Housekeeping magazine printed a letter from one LTC in Pewee Valley, Kentucky. Recipe number 2 was for Catskill Cake, a butter-based yellow cake which is studded with sweet, tangy, dried currants. 1 cupful of sugar, 1/2 cupful of butter, 1/2 cupful of sweet milk, 1 1/2 cupful of flour, yolks of 7 eggs, 1 teaspoonful of cream of tartar, 1/2 teaspoonful of soda. A cupful of currants floured and put in adds to this when baked in a solid cake. Why this was called Catskill Cake is lost to history, but most likely the name was capitalizing on the cultural cachet of Catskill vacation retreats, like the Catskill Mountain House, which were quite popular at the time with the rich and famous. Except for the fact that it calls for 7 egg yolks, Catskill Cake is a pretty standard cake recipe. That's a lot of eggs for a small cake, but remember, in the late 1800s, most people kept backyard chickens, especially in places like the rural Catskills. And if the hens were producing prolifically, extra eggs could be traded with neighbors for other goods or be used in recipes like Catskill Cake. But recipes for the use of surplus egg yolks begs the question, what were people doing with all of the whites in the late 1800s? Outside of home use, they were an essential element in the production of albumin prints, a popular method of photography in which the egg whites helped the development chemicals stick to the paper. But for most people, there were many more common uses. Egg whites were applied to the body to soothe skin, and egg whites were the star of many dishes, especially mousses and meringues and angel food cakes. Lightly beaten into a wash, egg whites added a shiny gloss to breads, and for the boozy sorts, egg whites gave a fancy froth to classic cocktails like the Pink Lady and the Ramos Fizz. The hardest part of this recipe isn't the mixing or figuring out how to use those extra egg whites, though. It's the torturous time spent as the irresistible smell of baking fills your entire home. If that isn't enough incentive for you to try making some old cake for yourself, know that by following this recipe, you'll gain a new way of understanding our past through an unexpected sense: taste. So go ahead, channel your inner Miss Havisham, and put a little local history on your table.